The shadows of violence against women loom large, casting a dark and oppressive pall over society. From the homes of our loved ones to the streets we walk, the threat of harm is ever present, leaving women feeling trapped and alone. But wait, the worst is yet to come. What if we told you there has been violence against women inside the courtroom? Even female prosecutors were not spared. Stay tuned till the end to witness these horrific events. Rashad Green of Akron, Ohio, severely beat his girlfriend as she applied for a restraining order against him, and the horrific events were caught on the courtroom's video cameras. He savagely attacked the Ohio lady who was seeking an order of protection against her ex-boyfriend inside a domestic relations courtroom. The incident was caught on tape. The attack by Rashad Green took place after he was temporarily left alone in the courtroom with Dominique Morrow and Green's grandmother, as can be seen in the video. Green and Morrow were in court in Summit County this month to discuss Morrow's request for a restraining order against Green, whom she claims has threatened and abused her. Magistrate Tracy Stoner left the small courtroom for a moment, and Green seemed to start shouting and gesturing at Morrow, who was sitting calmly at a conference table. In the footage, Green can also be seen standing up and pursuing Morrow around a table. Green was informed by the court that he was the subject of active arrest warrants and that he would be taken into jail following the hearing. The judge then went with the bailiff to check on the warrants. She turns around as he stands up and pursues her in one direction. She then trips over, at which time he turns around and smacks her. As a sheriff's officer enters the room, the footage then shows Green leaping on his ex-girlfriend and hitting her repeatedly. Green pushed his grandma against the wall when she attempted to move in front of him. Morrow had tripped and fallen to the ground when Green jumped on her. A sheriff's officer stopped Green as he was beating Morrow and used a stun gun to take him down. After being tased, Green was then arrested and is now being held on allegations of extra domestic violence and contempt of court. Green was detained for domestic abuse and was later placed into the county prison, where he is currently being held instead of a $25,000 bail. He is shown in the adjacent mug photo. Records show that a judge in Akron Municipal Court issued a temporary restraining order preventing Green from communicating with Morrow yesterday. Green pushed his grandma against the wall when she attempted to move in front of him. Morrow had tripped and fallen to the ground when Green jumped on her. A sheriff's officer stopped Green as he was beating Morrow and used a stun gun to take him down. After being tased, Green was then arrested and is now being held on allegations of extra domestic violence and contempt of court. Green was detained for domestic abuse and was later placed into the county prison, where he is currently being held instead of a $25,000 bail. He is shown in the adjacent mug photo. Records show that a judge in Akron Municipal Court issued a temporary restraining order preventing Green from communicating with Morrow. The victim said, "I went there. I told the magistrate. I was in fear for my life and that I had children to take care of. I just wanted her to see." After being assaulted, the woman had treatment for a head injury. There are deputies present in the courtroom. We have never had a deputy present in each courtroom. That's not possible due to staffing. The bailiff and deputy both reacted promptly to the situation and brought it under control. The two were present in court for Stoner's hearing. The protective order against Green had been requested in papers submitted by the victim. She said Green had threatened her and acted violently against her. Green was there to present his perspective on the events. During the hearing, Stoner left the courtroom briefly, leaving Green and the victim alone. The victim said she was not expecting to be alone with Green. The woman made it quite evident that she was afraid when the judge left. Judges are unable to comment on active cases, according to Susan Tucker, the court's director of community engagement. According to Tucker, the lady claimed domestic abuse and requested a civil protection order because she believed that she was in imminent danger of being attacked by Green. According to Tucker, Stoner departed the courtroom to see if Green was the subject of any active arrest warrants. She said that despite there being thousands of identical situations, no victim has ever been attacked in court. According to Tucker, the majority of those who work in the field of domestic abuse are aware that anything may happen at any time. And even if the magistrate had been there, he still would have carried out his decision. The number of protection orders has grown recently, according to Tucker, and the court would love to have additional deputies present. She said that finance is not accessible though. There is a deputy stationed on each of the 2 floors of the court. On other sides of the courthouse where criminal trials are heard, there are more deputies posted. The court should review its procedures and possible funds for increased security in light of the occurrence. To keep everyone secure, they must consider what has to be done. Everyone is exposed. There seems to be fewer restrictions on what is proper behavior in our culture. And we have another instance of this barbaric act inside a courtroom. Here, the victim is a prosecutor herself. Attacks against attorneys inside of courtrooms are a major problem that might have detrimental effects on both the security of the attorneys and the general public. Physical assault, verbal abuse, and even threats of murder are just a few of the ways that these attacks can manifest. Following a prisoner attack that was recorded on video inside a courthouse in Las Vegas, serious security concerns are now in the air. The outburst occurred at Terrain Woods' sentence hearing. Woods was on trial for assaulting a 13-month-old boy in March 2017. As Woods sat and listened during his sentencing hearing, the prosecution created a bleak image of the defendant. The Clark County prosecutor said, "This individual is extremely violent. He's a ticking time bomb, and he's a danger to anyone who's around him." A jury concluded that Woods hit the youngster he was allegedly supervising. Woods' defense attorney said, "I think we can all appreciate how sad this case is. A 13-month-old child was body slammed and almost died." A jury ultimately found Mr. Woods guilty of that heinous offense. But I think at the same time, we all understand that Mr. Woods, quite frankly, is not on this planet, he added. Woods was given a jail term of 8 to 20 years, plus an extra 1 to 3 years. The prosecutor was then attacked by Woods, who had to be detained in the courtroom by numerous cops. Woods will probably be charged with further crimes as a result of the event in court. What, if any, security adjustments will be done following this incident is unknown. Michael Troiano, Woods' attorney, claimed that despite having mental health problems, his client would not have harmed anyone in the courtroom. He simply freaked out and wanted to wreak chaos. Wolfson stated that given the length of Woods' current sentence, he does not believe that any more charges for the outburst would be brought against him. Judge Weiss notes that Woods has served none of his 8 prior prison terms. He describes him as a risk to the neighborhood, and Woods then loses his cool. Records show that the 27-year-old, who has a significant criminal past, refused to submit to a parole and probation review. His lawyer, Michael Troiano, also noted that Woods had a history of mental illness and questioned how Woods was found competent to stand trial. Many courts have put in place security measures like metal detectors and security guards to safeguard prosecutors against threats within courtrooms. Additionally, bodyguards or other security staff may be assigned to accompany prosecutors to and from the courthouse. Attacks on prosecutors still happen in courtrooms despite these precautions, so courts must keep taking action to protect everyone there, including prosecutors, from harm. To secure the security of the judge, the attorneys, and everyone else present in the courtroom, the court must adhere strictly to established norms and procedures. So that concludes our video. What are your thoughts on it? Please share with us in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one. Until then, peace.